record it locally. All right. So Dylan and I have known each other, I don't know, several months now, and we've kind of traded ideas and stuff. And I'm totally impressed with his thinking and just insight into what's going on in the industry right now, folks. And I was just thrilled when he agreed to say he'd be our guest speaker for this. I was like, wow, this is going to be really good, and I'm excited about it. And so I'm putting a little pressure on you, buddy. But
No,
at the
I'm
same
ready.
time, I'll let you take over and talk to us about some of the things that are going on. We're going to do a breakout room. This will be an active session, so let's rock and roll. The floor is yours, Dylan.
Perfect. Well,
Let
thank
me.
you so much. And thanks for the invitation here. I'm really excited for this one. I'll share my screen. I've prepared something just for us here. And also at the end, I'll have a little bit of a goodie for you that will help you write that future letter to yourself, like a pre-built prompt that I put together. And hopefully that will speed up and kind of make this process a little bit easier, not just this quarter, but future quarters as well. So let me share my screen. Perfect.
Well, that'll help you, Nathan.
And you can
I'm
see, is
done.
all right, perfect. So in this training, guys, maybe before diving in, I'm really curious, are you, Coach Hess, I couldn't see the results of those polls, but just kind of open question for everyone here. Are you guys really actively using it? Is anyone not really using AI in their day-to-day or professionally? And Gemini, Chat, Claude, any of these
Yeah, the
Every day.
results
every
showed
day?
one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. And anyone not really using it yet very much or from
Well,
time
I
to
don't
time?
really use AI, but it's already integrated in our management system, which
Okay.
is highly performing based off AI. So I guess I use it by default.
Okay.
But I mean, just it's phenomenal. Like it does so many things that I don't even have to think about. I can just say, write an email for an insurance review, and then boom, it's done. Like, do you want it short, formal? Like I mean, it
Yes.
just has so many options, and it does it for you. So I mean, it's wonderful.
That's incredible. So, yeah, thanks for this little bit of context here. It sounds like you are, pretty typical business owners seem to be kind of actually early adapters using it even before their teams and kind of also pushing their teams to use it more and more. So it's great to see you guys already using it. In this little discussion here today, my goal is to give you some frameworks to be able to use it better and to also be able to maybe roll it out to your team because a challenge right now is a lot of business owners are telling their team to go use AI and it's actually not really working because what does that mean? People don't quite know how to use it. It's not enough. So I can give you some really good frameworks, some really good structure here that you can take right after this call and start applying to anything. And I really believe if you start doing this, you'll get a lot of time back and you can focus on, more important things or more interesting things. So with that stage kind of set, a little bit of introduction of myself. I'm originally from Indiana. Went to University of Michigan. Hopefully there are no Buckeye fans here, otherwise I might be in trouble. Um, sorry.
Watch
So
it.
watch out. Oh no. All right, Keith. I'll have to make it up with better prompts for you. So I have been really focused on automation, and recently that has really turned into AI, fully AI, because AI can do so much more than traditional automation. Typically, we were just moving data around back and forth between systems, but now we're actually creating things, and we're helping business owners get time back. We're helping teams work in flow states. It's becoming much more interesting, engaging, creative, and I'm just really excited. I think this is such a fun time. We're all in, and we can all really use this to have better, more meaningful work, better businesses, better quality of life. So, with that said, the first kind of framework I want you to think about I want you to think of it as hiring a brilliant intern. And you can also think of it as an intern with a PhD in everything, but that knows nothing about you, your business, the people involved, your clients, your team. So they're really incredible. They can do a lot. They know so much. But if you just took this intern in day one, you tried to give them tasks to do, they're going to fumble. They're going to struggle. They're definitely not going to do it like you would do it, right? So just going into AI with that kind of mindset is really going to help us here. So instead of teaching the intern, you're sometimes I see business owners just dumping tasks on them and kind of saying, figure it out. And AI is pretty clever, so it can kind of figure it out. Also, we are clever as business owners and we can work with it a bit until it figures it out. But it's very dysfunctional workflow when you have all this back and forth, asking for adjustments, corrections, etc. And if you're trying to, automate a task that you do repeatedly with AI, that's quite a dysfunctional workflow, right? And it's a little bit hard, it's a bit clunky. So I'm going to teach you today some principles of prompt engineering that will help you teach that intern, speak to the intern in a way that it will understand better. Okay, and it will do better results with less follow-up, less issues going forward. So I'm curious if you guys were to hire an intern, and it's again open question for all of you. If you hired an intern and you started giving them your tasks without much context, how do you think that would go? Have you guys tried this? Maybe we had some new employees joining the team for the first time. Were there any funny moments where maybe you didn't explain something well enough to them and they maybe did something a little bit funny in the
There
end?
were many moments, and I don't think
Okay.
it was me explaining. I think it was them understanding.
Love
I
it.
see. Yeah, any example, like high level at least?
Well, I think sometimes like we get so caught up in we know what we're doing, so when we
Hmm.
explain it, we kind of mean to skip through like the details of it.
Yeah.
So, actually just going through this last hire, I was really thinking like I need to just do a whole like video and a how to for how to onboard a sales agent and how to onboard a like service agent because
Yeah.
we don't hire people that often, so you tend to forget. And then
Yeah.
also so many things change. So if I had a new sales agent back in last August, we by that time have lost a couple carriers and have gained 10 more. So there's got to be like a way to say, have you done this? Have you done that? Like just kind of systemize it. So that's one thing that I realized just with this last one.
That's incredible. That's really helpful. And maybe just a quick side note, if you record those videos, AI is very good at creating SOPs, or even also you can ask it to identify areas that maybe are unclear, they need
Mm-hmm.
more explanation. It can analyze the videos and do
But
that.
that's what I've started doing when I ask somebody to do something is I stop writing the email and I just do a video. Like this is
Fantastic.
what you do. So yeah, I may be talking, but I'm actually they're seeing the screen on how to do things
Yeah.
and everybody gets it. Like
Yeah, that's
because it's not
fantastic.
like where do I click? Where do I do this? Where do I mean if it's there in a video, they're gonna get it done.
Yeah, that's great. And the videos are very easy compared to writing a whole
Mhm.
SOP step by step for them. So
Yeah.
it's really incredible. All right, so again, I just want to repeat, even the smartest person, if you hire them, they would need context. And we just really need to think about when we're communicating with AI, when we're writing prompts, we might just throw a few things, a few words at them, like help me with this email, but really, what does that mean, right? And if it's not giving you the results you want, you're probably just not giving it enough context, right? And it needs to know things like what's my role, right? What are our goals together? What am I allowed to do? What can't I do? What shouldn't I do? What steps should I follow? And any examples you can show me. So really a lot like a human here. I think sometimes we just maybe treat it a little bit too much like Google and a little bit less like an intern. Um, so AI has this learning style, and if we can match it, you guys will be really, really surprised. I definitely have been. So it needs clear instructions, defined roles and expectations, and it also won't ask clarifying questions. Its real goal, number one goal, is to please you, to make you happy, right? And so asking these additional questions, asking for context, kind of maybe breaks that flow. And it's just really trying to do its best with what it has every time, right? And so if your instructions are vague, you're actually often kind of rolling the dice on the quality of the outcome. And the same with a person, truly. All right, so the first step here to write better prompts to your AI, in any of them, by the way, Google or Gemini, Chat from OpenAI or Claude or Perplexity, they all follow these principles. If you tell it a role, it actually helps it narrow where in its training data it should look to find information that will be relevant to help you. So if you say you're a business analyst, you should behave as a business analyst. It'll look at what it knows about that entire domain, and it already kind of surface that info to the front, right? If you say you should be a sales rep, it'll pull everything it knows about sales to the front. And if you don't provide a role, it'll guess what it should be, and there's room for it to, immediately go off track, right? So an example here, um, we're going to together go through an example of writing an email, something to help us maybe more edit our emails, not necessarily write them from scratch, although it could also be used that way too. In this case, you're a seasoned business executive and communication specialist. You're highly skilled in written email communication. Just telling it this, it's going to surface all the best practices from this domain from the beginning.
You might want to let
If
everybody know what an LLM is.
Oh yeah, sorry. LLM is a large language model. So those are what ChatGPT are, Claude is, Gemini is, Perplexity is. It's
Right.
basically an AI that you can interact with through text. Uh, Perfect. Uh, is it clear? But maybe before I move on, is the role clear? What we're kind of asking here?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, now provide context. So the next chunk of information it needs is necessary background information. Are there emails that we're replying to? Is there a chain that we can, read so we understand where we're at in the conversation? Are there call transcripts? Are there any like proposal documents that we're discussing? Anything you can give to it, it will help it to do a better job, right? And just like a human too. So some examples could be the previous call transcript, background info, even putting the URL. Now these tools can go to URLs and do research on the company that you're interacting with. And that's also an interesting layer of additional context. It's very easy to provide.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Drag and drop it.
You drag and drop, yeah. And you can always just think, if I had to do this task and I had no idea what's going on here, what would I want to know? Right? What questions would I ask? And just try to provide those that come to your mind. But also, this is a skill. And once you do it a few times, it becomes very easy, actually, to figure out what it needs to do the task. And I think as business owners, just as a side note, we're actually very ultimately like good at this already because we're delegating things to other people, to other team members, and there's a lot of overlap. So I think business owners have a pretty big advantage when it comes to working with AI as well. Next, explain the task. Before it was context, now it's what do you want it to do, right? What's our goal here? Why are you talking to me? Why are we, running this prompt? So in this case, we want to write an email tailored to the recipient's communication style that will convince them to proceed with a free trial. So it's a little bit sales focused maybe here. Next, we want to define constraints. What should it do? What shouldn't it do? What are guardrails? So maybe, don't use profanity or follow this sales framework like spin selling or something, whatever you'd like. These are the rules it should kind of live within and follow. So some examples here could be always communicate with empathy, prioritize clarity over cleverness, write for readability, keep the text concise, tailor the language to match the recipient's language. And that's also a very interesting thing to add to your prompts. You can start tailoring your communication to mirror the communication styles of who you're speaking with. And this is a place that's getting a lot of attention right now. And even some people are going so far as to use call transcripts or emails to create AI disc assessments of who they're talking to and even tailor the communication to them in their like either disc or just communication style like profiles. So yeah,
Yeah, that's powerful.
it's really interesting.
You say please and thank you to your.
Yeah, so my team makes fun of me so much. I don't say thank you, but I use please a lot. Yeah.
So how do you not argue with it? Because I yell at it all day long. Sometimes I really am immersed in it and it just makes so many mistakes.
Okay.
I use
Okay.
like 3 different platforms and
Wow.
I mean and I couldn't be clearer.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I'm constantly sort of, I mean, that would be my challenge, and I hope
Yeah.
that you can give some guidance on that because
Yes.
while it saves you time, it's also as if you're micromanaging
Yeah.
AI so that it doesn't make mistakes and leave things out because it does a lot of editing because it wants to, not because you're asking it to.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
It's a good point. Sometimes we turn to this tool to be more productive and ends up wasting a lot of time, right? And so I really think that, together we're going to try to apply these steps that I am presenting here. And let's see if this helps, okay? I think, Claudia, you might walk away with a good prompt that you can go and try. And I think it'll be a big step forward. But one thing I'll also note is that you really should be using these paid models and ideally these thinking models, if possible, because it is a big
I use all the
difference.
paid
Okay,
models.
perfect,
I
great.
use paid Claude AI, I use paid
ChatGPT,
ChatGPT. I actually use two others in addition
wow.
that aren't that where they're encrypted, but they're more private.
Yeah, understood. That's incredible. Wow.
So
All right.
when you guys are saying AI, because this is a little confusing because I mean I know AI, but through like our management system,
Yeah.
which obviously they're all paid and developed into it. But
Yes.
I mean, who are you guys asking? Like that's weird to me to even say AI like it's like a person, but like who is it? Where is it? How do you even find it?
It's a great question. So we're talking about using these tools. Let me pull them up. Like ChatGPT. This is probably the most popular one at the moment.
Hmm.
Um, you just come here and you just talk to it, and it will answer to you.
Hmm.
And you can ask it any question. And then there are other ones. Google has Gemini. Claude is another great option, and Perplexity is another popular one for specifically research. So I hope this answers your question. Just think of mostly Chat or Gemini or Claude.
Okay.
Yeah, and they all are, the same thing fundamentally, but they have slightly different training data underneath them. They have slightly different communication styles. So, for example, ChatGPT is maybe a little bit more friendly compared to Gemini, who's a little bit more direct and kind of like solution oriented in the communication style. Um, so yeah, I would really recommend taking a look at ChatGPT. And the last thing here, if you could provide examples, one or more high quality
I'm
examples.
sorry, Dylan, can I just ask a quick question?
Absolutely. Yep.
Just what do you think about Google Grok?
Oh, yeah. Okay. This is Elon Musk's XAI's LLM model, like large language model, Grok. It is actually benchmarking pretty high at the moment. They released a new version 2 months ago, but honestly, we're not using it that much. But I know it is benchmarking very well. It's trained mostly on Twitter data, um, actually. So some people do really prefer it for more natural language. So if you're asking it to edit in natural language, human language that we would actually use and speak, some people do prefer it quite a bit. Yeah. Perfect. And then here we have examples. So in this case, you can provide your 3 emails that you've written in the past that you're most proud of, and it can use those to learn the patterns, to learn the words you're saying, how you're just generally communicating by default. And this will also really help. So in the end, if we combine all of this, you have a prompt that starts to look like this, where you define the role, the context, the task you want it to do, the constraints what it should do, shouldn't do, and then examples down at the bottom. And if you really want to supercharge it, and Claudia, this might be if there's just one thing you could go in and try after this, it could also be using this technique called chain of thought. And what chain of thought is you basically ask the AI before it does anything, stop and think, okay? Make a plan. What steps are you going to follow to actually do this task that I'm asking you to do? And you don't even have to give it feedback on the steps often. Usually I just say, looks great, go ahead. And just by making it stop and think, also like people, it does a much better job.
Can I
Interesting.
ask a question here
Absolutely.
real
I
quick?
love that. Thank you.
So, is it necessary to sort of prompt it to think, even if it's a reasoning model? So, for instance, DeepSeek Reasoner or O3,
Yeah.
which is already sort of biased towards chain of thought. Do I have to direct that chain of thought, or does it find the optimal route on its own?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of the reasons those thinking models have improved in the output is because they bake that into it, as you just said, right? This is actually the power behind those, but it's still even better if you ask it and do the extra step. It's just shown to do better, to like explicitly make that the focus of the LLM's resources, purely that chain of thought step.
And should I sort of highlight the steps it should follow? Like, for instance,
Yeah.
just as I gave it example, should I give it the steps of thought that it ought to follow? Or
Yeah.
do I trust it that it might find a better thought process than what I might have
Yeah.
highlighted?
Oh, that's a great question. If you're going to be automating a process that you don't want to be involved in, you don't want to see, I highly recommend providing the steps, right? Because it's going to be much more consistent every time. But it's also a lot of overhead if you're just replying to this one-off email to cognitively sit and think through every step. So I think it's okay in those one-offs to ask it to come up with its own steps. But if it's really systematic, we provide them for
The chain of thought.
or the
Okay.
solution.
All right.
Exactly, like the actual steps. And I can even show an example of like what a real prompt looks like. That's very reliable and working very, very well. Give me 1 second here. All right, perfect. So here is an example of a prompt, and you're going to see that we provided the actual steps for it. Here it is. So this is helping me with my LinkedIn content that I'm writing. It's my kind of LinkedIn ghostwriter making the drafts after I've provided it like the ideas and the context here. So you can see here, mentioned brand voice. We have critical rules. They're not allowed to violate these. Here's some context. Here's the actual steps that we want it to do. And there's even a baked in moment where I have it check the reading level, check the formatting, and just putting like an extra check on the things you really want it to get right and not mess up really improves the output as well. Yeah. Perfect.
Excellent.
And also, this looks like a lot of text, but funny enough, you can ask AI to act as an expert prompt engineer and to write prompts in this way for you to use. So it's
Using AI to do AI.
exactly, yep.
Yeah.
So that gives you a great baseline to begin with on these prompts. Yeah, perfect. But I would say this structure is really important when you have a repeatable process you're trying to really streamline, right? You do it again and again and again. And this is probably a bit more overkill for like the one-off requests you have for it. So I actually was able to we've been able to use AI to generate some like profiles of people both on our team and some of our clients to help us be able to tailor our communication to them. So here you can see a little bit, we've like removed names, but this person in the company kind of represents the heart of the company. They're really focused on the people, on the well-being, on a stable work environment. These are the things we've extracted from them. And oops, the other one is really focused on how it's going to work, efficiency, data, the very, very logical driven co-founder here. And so we actually are tailoring our communication to try to speak to both of these co-founders at the same time behind the scenes.
So as far as setting that up,
Yep.
how did you go about that? Are you taking their LinkedIn profiles? You're taking whatever else you have on them in the past and then dropping it in and asking for kind of give you the guidance here?
Yeah, that's a great question. These are typically generated from call transcripts. So we will meet with our clients many times, and we've actually kind of gone a little bit beyond just talking about tech with them. We've also really tried to understand them as people, right? And we ask questions that try to reveal more about them and about their communication style in a more natural way. But that allows us to, I just think, communicate more clearly to them, right? Because actually, by default, developers are quite poor communicators, right? And sometimes also you just reply quickly on the fly. And I think there's a lot of poor communication out there. So this helps us just make sure that we're really highlighting the things that they care about, right? And communicating effectively to them.
Good stuff.
Yeah. And also, a couple other quick notes. You could model your ideal customer as well, paint him in AI, and have AI role play as your ideal customer. And you can give it a marketing piece, newsletter, or an offer and see how it responds to it, right? See what's unclear, what they like, what they maybe don't like, and that could be just great feedback. It's like an AI focus group in real time.
Nice.
Fantastic. So if we can move now into the breakout rooms, what I'd really like for all of us to do, it's easy to talk about prompt engineering, easy to talk about AI, but I really believe that the way we get better is by putting it into practice and trying it. I'm sure Coach Hess will tell you that the practice component is key, probably 70% of the learning at least. And so if we can break out into rooms, but maybe before that, I have a prompt template here. So what I'd really like you to do is try to write a template that you can reuse following these steps for an AI that will review your emails, okay? And I know email is kind of a generic example, but it's one we'll all understand and we can all actually go and use. But this pattern will work with anything, okay, afterwards.
Can you put that
So
in chat? Because
you
when we
got
go
it.
breakout rooms, they'll
100%. Yep, so you can just make a copy of this document and work out of it in your breakout rooms.
get it.
Perfect. And then we'll come back and we'll see how we all kind of did. We can compare them, and I think it'll be really good.
Hey,
Do you want
Dylan.
us to actually run it in our GPT or our chat?
You don't have to. Nope. In this case, just really focus on the structure and being clear, okay, with the AI.
Hey, Dylan.
Yep.
You know, in the URL there in that string you just posted,
Uh-huh.
see how it says edit at the end of the string?
Yeah.
Did you know if you change that to copy, then everyone who opens it will be prompted to make their own copy?
Instantly. Okay, nice. I did not know that. Thanks for that.
That's
Wow.
cool.
So all right, you'll have to make your own copy, or I can give it a go actually right here. Let me do that. So all right, second link will ask you to make a copy. Perfect.
Let's see if that works. Used to.
Yeah. So you want me to put people in breakout rooms?
Yeah, perfect. And
I'm a
so there'll
little
be
concerned
two.
with all the AI note takers here that if I just do it automatically, it's going to assign those to rooms and then people will be left by themselves with a note taker.
I see. I
Let me
see.
let me see if I can assign it manually and
Mm-hmm.
give me a second here to yeah, that works. And I can
I'll
assign.
have to, I
Give me
said
a
that.
second. It'll take me a second to do this, but
No problem.
I'll get a couple in every room. Deandra, and I don't want to put her with Steve. Dylan, um, Jay, and we got Latoya and Nathan. I think I got them all. Let me see if I miss somebody. I'll come back and save it. We're all breaking now.
Perfect. See you in a minute.